Have you tried to be calm, stay gentle, be connected to your child, but it still isn't working? Well, you are not alone. Gentle parenting isn't working for a lot of people, and there's a lot of frustration with parents. So here's what to do instead. In this video, I'm going to show you how to maintain connection with your child, but also still teach them, correct them as you need to do as a parent, but you can do it in a loving way, but not necessarily fall into the gentle parenting trap. First, we better talk about what's wrong with the gentle parenting movement. I mean, a lot of it really is in the title, gentle parenting. That actually suggests that regular parenting, that correcting children and teaching children is somehow harsh, is somehow not gentle, is not kind, that somehow it might be abusive to parent children. I think that message is off, isn't it? Because every little person is born to two big people. That is a teacher-learner model. So the parents are automatically teachers, and the child is automatically a learner. This is the first roles that they have in their parent relationship. So if we say, just in general, listen, unless you're doing gentle parenting, you're probably teaching wrong, and that person's not going to be able to learn from you, that actually undermines the roles of both the parents in the family and of the child. It makes it so that there creates a disconnect there. The parents become self-conscious, insecure. They may stop correcting or teaching their child when it needs to happen. The child won't feel cared for, or that the parents even feel like it's worth giving them the training that they need. Over time, this creates a lot of problems in the overall dynamic and relationships within the family. So just the word gentle parenting has an unspoken message that we don't want to get into, but also I think it leads people down this road of thinking, okay, if I'm parenting my child, I need to be worried that I could be abusive or mistreat my child. This undermines the authority of the parent by the parent. The parent is undermining their own authority. Before they have a parenting interaction, they become nervous. If they do not have confidence in what they're doing with their child, the child feels that, they feel that, suddenly it goes to passive parenting, just like that. Like, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want. Well, that's what they wanted. They cried about it. If we have passive parenting that happens, that also undermines the roles in the family. It creates dysfunction, because now the teachers aren't going to teach and the learner doesn't get the opportunity to learn. The learner is now put in a leadership capacity in the family, and it is their job to instruct the parents about what they want and what they don't want, what makes them happy, what makes them unhappy. And people might say, well, this is a lot of good, useful information. Oh, okay, maybe, but I think we're missing out on a really important part of being a child, which is to learn the boundaries, the people, the training, the skills, like all of those things. The child is not supposed to lead their full developmental experience. They can learn some things on their own. Sure, absolutely, every living thing can grow and learn some things on their own, but that's a super bumpy path. And when it comes to humans, it wasn't intended to be that way. We've never done it that way. We've never had a baby and just left them alone on the sidewalk to figure it out. The parents always provide the nurturing, the teaching, the training. So this is pretty significant, actually. So years ago, when I started teaching parenting, I thought everybody understood roles, in particular family roles. And so when I started writing my first books and teaching my first classes, I just had that as a given in my mind, that I didn't have to discuss that. And then people started coming to me and saying, well, what if your child won't listen to you? But what if they don't like the corrections that you give them? And I was like, What if they don't like it? Nobody says they have to like it. I mean, sure, it'd be great if they accepted it. They should learn to accept it, but they don't have to like it. That's just a feeling. That's just an emotional response to something. Anyone can train an emotional response. So it's unhealthy if you think that your child has to approve of everything you do, because then that undermines your role. And I would just say that's a roles issue. So then I wrote this book, Roles, The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success, because people didn't understand the basics of family roles. And I'm not talking about who takes out the trash and makes the dinner. I'm just talking about who we are to each other, like the self-evident truth of who we are to each other in the family. Anyway, vital information there for families to have as they're trying to navigate their relationships with each other. So hopefully we've established why we've had a problem. I could go into more details about the gentle parenting movement. The people who advocate for gentle parenting oftentimes advocate for no consequences. Well, this is a disconnect from reality. If I don't brush my teeth, I get cavities. If I am angry with my spouse, he distances himself from me. If I don't help out my parent when I'm a child, they don't trust me or feel like that I honor them. And so I may not get to go to the party I wanted to because the trust is now lacking. Like, these are just regular cause and effect. That's just life. And we need to teach our children cause and effect. And actually, instead of having a child go through all those natural consequences that I just talked about, which it might take a while for them to actually acknowledge, especially because parents don't want their teeth to rot out of their heads, and so they'll just do it for them and everything. There needs to be a synthetic consequence that they can accept, because a person can't learn self-government unless they get the opportunity to accept a consequence. That needs to be part of the system that's put in place for people so that they actually get the opportunity to make more choices and see what the consequences are to those choices. So what can we do then in order to create a system of parenting and training of children to actually keep those parental roles intact, teach cause and effect, and help the parents know what to say, have more confidence, but hey, how about not yell all at the same time? I don't know if you've heard of this book, Popular Parenting Methods, but this book is actually a book I wrote which talks about the different parenting styles. And I actually expose all the problems in the bully, fear-based parenting and spanking and all of that. And I expose the problems in the modern progressive, be their friend type parenting as well. And I talk about what that traditional strict parent, meaning strictly principles, not strictly ornery, okay? What that type of parent focused on when they turned out the best, most confident, motivated, driven children. What was it that they focused on, and what can we focus on ourselves as well? That's what I'd really like to hit on, is as you're starting to frame what you want to do for your family, and you know you want it to be gentle, but you don't want it to fall off this gentle parenting cliff, I would say you're wise there. So what should it look like? Well, it should be proactive, number one. Good parenting is something that is planned for. It's not just something that randomly happens. Obviously, mistakes and happy little circumstances can happen in our parenting, but most of our greatest successes come because we prepared ourselves for them. So as a parent, you being calm, you being self-governed is going to be the biggest game changer in your family, which really means that the parents have to focus on their own skills. And most of those skills are not skills our society teaches anymore. They're not skills that most of our parents taught us. Our parents taught us how to be emotionally reactive or maybe passive, some of us, but they didn't teach us the skills that we needed to assertively and confidently know what was going on inside, self-regulate, handle our problems, all of those types of things, which are so very, very important. So you got to be proactive, have a plan. What skills are you going to use? What words are you going to say? And how is it going to feel? If you want it to feel gentle, I do suggest picking a new word. I would say calm. Have it feel calm, because calm is very active, it's very deliberate and planned, but it's not passive at all. And I think that's a real power word for you. So there's a lot about calmness and a lot about skills of self-government that really are going to be the solution that you're looking for. And there is a video that is on this channel. It's a full-length class, and it's called the Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. It'll go into all those details for you, and it'll help you get a little bit of a taste of what you can do to be a calm parent, but also a structured parent, and also give your children the opportunity to recognize the power of their own choices and learn the skills that they need to be successful in life. So anyway, go to the Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. I'll see you there.